Wow, I'm so tech savvy. Okay,
Can you feel the power? You're now
unbelievable.
the host.
Okay, we're up to page Memzai in Dalet Essen. Right, we're in the Psicha,
Mhm.
Dalet Essen. Memai de Sipur haLashon Horah Chilas. Hishpilas Chaveroi. If through the saying the Lashon Horah and the Rechilas you mashpil, you put someone down. Achi Iben Mechiyosei Deze. To the extent that by doing that he lost his livelihood. Kigoin, for example, because of his evil heart. He publicized about this gentleman, She'ena Ishmael, and he's not trustworthy. Bal Malachov, let's say the guy is a Bal Malacha. He does, a plumber, electrician. So he publicized the guy doesn't know how to do it. Doesn't do a good job. Anything similar. So it's a very specific Lashon Horah, right? Right? Mitzvah say, what does it mean? He should live with you. Your brother should live with you. That mitzvah is a mitzvah deraisa to support a Jew whose parnasa is not doing well. Give him a gift, financial help, or halva, or a loan, or suprise, take him into the company, make a partnership, or make up work, give him work. So he could strengthen himself. He shouldn't fall and then need to ask for tzedakah. So if that's the mitzvah, say, certainly including the mitzvah. This mitzvah is that I shouldn't be the cause for him to lose his livelihood.
So, I mean, tachlis.
Yeah.
You people are running businesses. People don't live up to expectations. You have people, electricians, plumbers, carpenters who come in. They do an inferior job. They miss something. They really mess it up. I mean, you're playing with livelihood here. And he's saying that this is a problem.
Yeah. So look, we're going to get to that in the actual sefer, right? You have that override clause that's called tayelis.
Uh-huh.
And like in what you're describing, it becomes tricky. Where's the cutoff point for tayelis? Should I put an ad in the paper because someone might hire this guy, and he does a rotten job? Is that called the tayelis? Or is it much more limited that if someone asks you about him, a recommendation or something, you could just tell them, that your experience wasn't so good. It applies, I'll tell you where it applies very, very commonly. And there it's a very subjective thing. And that's why in Mamash it's also. Someone asks you about a restaurant.
I was just going to say, you
And
have
you
all
say,
these
oh, the
things like
food wasn't
Yelp.
good. What's that?
You have online, they ask you to post a comment.
Right.
And people will eat in a restaurant and will not give a favorable review. The service was slow, it was cold, whatever.
Yeah. Listen, let's wait for the halacha, but there it's very many times subjective. The first will taste is subjective, right?
Right.
And just because you don't like the food doesn't mean it's not good. Many times you have to factor in, how much of a rush you were in that you feel the food didn't come out quick enough, and it's a very subjective thing, maybe that day they were backlogged, but it doesn't mean that it's always like that. So there it's very sticky to answer someone. You're talking about online, which is like big time. But even if someone comes over and asks you, yeah, it's a sticky response there. Unlike, if you hired a plumber and he said he fixed it, but when he walks out the door, everything's leaking. It's a little less subjective. So let's see. But,
Okay.
But Lamaisa, there is a mitzvah say to support someone, and that he shouldn't lose his parnasa, he shouldn't fall. And if you're the cause for him to lose his parnasa, so you're obviously transgressing that mitzvah. Number hey. Okay, so that last one, was it also on Kabbalah, would you say? If you're Kabbalah, the guy's Lashon Horah, and because of that, you don't hire the person or something like that. So I guess you're over on it also. Okay, another one is Gama mitzvah say the there's a mitzvah to rebuke someone. For example, so this I missed this when I read it. This is a mitzvah say that dafka, the one who's accepting it, who's makabel it, is like, not the one who's saying it. Okay, so by accepting the Lashon Horah, you're Ivan for example, you see that a person, you're talking to someone, you see that he's starting to say something negative about another. And you know that that guy will accept what you say to him. And says Chaim, even if it's in doubt, maybe he'll accept what I say. You're obligated to say, whoa, hold on a minute. I think you're missing it. I think this is Lashon Horah. I don't think you should be saying it. And if you don't stop him and you're not machiach him, so you're over so he shouldn't complete Avera. If he allows him to complete the story, he certainly transgressed that mitzvah say. Now let's see what he says on the bottom. Says that even sometimes people have this mindset, let him finish his story, and then I'm going to tell him that it was Lashon Horah. He says, it's wrong. He says, he gives an example. You see someone eating treif. So, so would anyone think that it's proper to let him finish the meal, relying on the fact that afterwards I'm going to give him rebuke? Of course, you have to stop him immediately. You're obligated to rebuke him immediately. Now, again, you see, he put in that clause that you either you know, or there's a chance that he'll listen to your teichach, because you know the guy's not going to listen, so that's a whole different ballpark. Then the question is, I'm to be machiach someone who's not going to listen. Okay, but excuse me. Because perhaps if you tell him right away, perhaps he'll stop eating. And every bite, every kazayis is another avera. So of course you have to stop him. But the same thing's true in our halacha. Every negative statement is a separate avera. Unless he says so therefore, obviously he's saying you got to stop him right away. So you shouldn't go on and say more. He says unless sometimes you understand that if you let him finish the story, there's other people listening, and you will be able to show the people listening from the actual story that it's not true. You can prove from the story. You wait for him to finish the story because you know that then you're going to have to turn to the people listening and tell them, look, this can't be true because, he wasn't even there or whatever. Oh, 1 minute. So in that case, you'd be allowed to wait for him to finish because there's a toelis here to be able, otherwise you won't be able to convince the other people listening that what he's saying isn't true. And they'll be Ivan Kabbal's Lashon Horah. But this way you can. Another scenario where you'd be allowed to let him finish. Well, sometimes you have to allow him to finish. Because it's something that Yataka have to be makabel it to be lochish. We're going to learn later, right? There's such a thing as if it's applicable to you, and it's important for you to know this. So even though you're not allowed to believe it as truth, but you're allowed to believe it as a possibility and take. Again, it doesn't. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to stop doing any chiyuvim. You're obligated to the other person because he has a chesed conscience. But you are allowed to take steps to protect yourself. Come on, Lashon Horah Klal Vav. Simcha, if you have the sefer that we're using, it's on page Memtes now.
I
Or
don't have
Mem
the
Aleph.
sefer.
Okay.
Which one are you using? Just
We're using
curious.
the one that's broken up.
Okay, May. I'll try to pick up one of those.
Okay. Aval in Muroya. It says, if you see Shurat Divi Kinturin Ba'amal Chaverot, but the guy is saying he's just bad mouthing the person, or Shurat Divi Hitu V'lag Ba'amal Chaver is just mocking the person. Bavadai says, so certainly call him Zoris Atzmai. The quicker you give him rebuke and stop him, Umanel Chaver Mitzarabu Oisa. V'chosef Kasamno, all of this we've written, I feel B'yesh Oid Shoimim Zulasai. He says this is true even if there's other people listening, and they could also be machriach. It doesn't take it off from you. As far as the issue of Fnei Ayin Le'el B'Lav and Boistal B'Remayim Chayim, what the get of Fnei is if there's other people listening. So he's over the Avera anyways. He's not gonna, if you walk away, if you don't give him to Kocha, he'll anyways do the Avera. What is your obligation there? Okay, so that's over here. Now we'll go to the back to the Shmiras haLashon part. And we're at okay, we were discussing how eternity, your eternity and your bracha in this world is all dependent on Shmiras haLashon. And now we're up to what's called Day Yutes Tishrei, page Chafei. V'agoyin Rebbe falls out b'sifra in Marpei Loshin. Says Chavetz Chaim. Not sure who wrote that. Sefer Marpei Loshin. Beres haPasuk Hazeh Gamkein. B'tuv Tam Vadas. He also explained. Over here in the Shmiras haLashon, he's working on explaining the pasuk of Mi Yishal Chavetz Chaim. Oiv Yom Liris Toiv, and why did David HaMelech specify this Aveira, as the key for so much good and bad. So he says that in the Marpei Lashon, which obviously is about Shmiras haLashon, he explains it this way: what does it say? Says the Chavis Halavavos, many people will come after 120 to the Yom HaCheshbon. If you're searching for it in the Sefer Simcha, so we're in Perik Gimel of Shar HaZechira.
I don't have this. I don't have the sefer. Sorry.
Oh, you don't have the Sefer at all. Okay.
I just have like this.
Okay, maybe I'll have to call Shenkins to have him send you one.
Okay, I'll get one. Don't worry.
Okay. When they get up to the next, the Yom HaCheshbon, Shemayim Maseyim, and then in Shemayim they show you, right, your actions. You're going to find in your mitzvah column, in your schuyas column, you're going to find things you didn't do, and you remember everything there. And you're going to say, I didn't do that. So they're going to tell you also as a shadibur b'chem, the person who spoke against you and said Lashon Horah about you, he did those mitzvahs, he did those chiyus. And therefore, you get the merit. And the same thing is true on the other side when someone else gets up there, someone who spoke bad about you, he comes and he looks for his mitzvahs and they're not there. The Yomrim, they say, after me came, you lost it. Basically, about them, but plenty when you spoke at another guy. There are others that when they get up there, on the other side, in their minus column, in their Averis column, you're going to find Averis they didn't do. And they say, but we didn't do that. You're right, but plenty. It was added to your husband because of Reuven and Shimon, that you spoke Lashon Horah about them. And it gets transferred. Ad kan l'shoiner, it can cost of Shari Svarim HaKadoshim. Others from write this concept, which is a very scary concept. Very, very scary, because it's bad enough what you did do to find that you have a whole bunch of Averis that you didn't do, on your list. And you're missing, so the minute you find that you did some mitzvahs and they're not on your cheshbon also, that's pretty scary. On the other hand, I was just thinking now, this could be a very powerful tool if someone does speak Lashon Horah about this. Right? So I was out there talking, my wife was telling me today, really the key for everything, when someone does anything to you, the key to reacting correctly is emunah. That if you believe strongly that nothing happens to you for mikra, there's no mikra. And if someone did something to you, even if he did it intentionally, it means that ultimately you were supposed to get it. It's all from Hamayim, because you're not going to suffer if you're not meant to suffer, right? So if someone speaks Lashon Horah about you, and you're really upset, the guy's bringing all kind of stories about that not even true, or they are true. Why does he have to embarrass me like that? If you realize that there's quite a benefit. There's quite a benefit because you're going to get his mitzvahs and he's going to take your averis. You should be pretty grateful to him that he's spreading the stories about, to go up and say, Yashakoyach, thank you very much. I needed those mitzvahs for my credit, and I'm happy to get rid of some averis I did. So it's a very, so you don't get so upset anymore because you realize that there's a very positive side to someone speaking Lashon Horah about you. I'm not saying that therefore you should encourage people to speak Lashon Horah, I don't mean that either. But if someone does, many times big machlokes comes out from that, it comes back. It's time called it oisfirin before, you go back to the guy, how could you say that about me? I didn't say it. It's big machlokes. If you believe with emunah shleima that even that, if you had to suffer, if you're suffering from the Lashon Horah, so it meant you were supposed to suffer because there's it's not a hefker world, and any mamim shleima that everything happens. It's from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But besides that, you're gaining from the fact the guy spoke Lashon Horah, so that softens the whole blow. So. Vim Ken Adover continues to Chafetz Chaim. It's as if so. Misha Mutfach Chas V'Shalom B'Mida Ra Zois. Someone who it's his second nature. This bad midah. Lahorik Achaver B'Chatzi B'Chitze L'Shoyne Tameh, that he speaks with the arrows of his tongue. Constantly speaks bad about people. Nothing's going to happen in his nefesh. But even if he's always learning Torah and mitzvahs. Kimiyachi yistaker shavua shavaim eza oisha nitzke the Torah mitzvahs. This is because as soon as you rack up in a week or two some eternity through your Torah mitzvahs, you might say kaver b'chitzei piv. He'll find the other guy and he'll speak Lashon Horah about him. And by doing that, he'll be transferring his mitzvahs to that guy, Lanetza. And he'll be accepting back the other guy's averos. He says afterwards, now you got another month or two of eternal oisher. He's going to meet another guy. He's going to speak Lashon Horah about him, and it's going to be gone. Canal, but can't tell me that Jerry might say. This will be a cycle. His whole life, Chas v'Shalom. So that's why this, I guess, what Rebbe Fol in the Mapre Lashon was telling us why this Avera is such a Avera. Because you could be working and doing good things your whole life and losing it all. I lost the place. 1 minute. To sum it up, this person whose second nature is to speak bad about people, he'll leave this world empty. His eternal acquisition, Shalter mitzvahs, he'll have nothing. And instead of them, he'll be full with avoinus, rabbim, matzumim, tremendous averis. Minim, shayim, all kinds. Shalkama v'kama nashim for many people, as he spoke about so many people. So he's going to get a whole slew of averis on his cheshbon. Based on how he embarrassed that person, he gets a certain amount of that guy's averis. Okay, and he's here also, David HaMelech, haLashon, therefore David HaMelech is warning us. The first thing is Lintel Lashon Meirah. Yeah, this is Gemam Shel Gevalda Pshat. The first thing is to make sure you don't speak Lashon Horah, because if you speak Lashon Horah, so you don't get past first base. You don't get past the batters. Because whatever you do, you're not going to have it. So what's it? You're going to spend your whole life doing mitzvahs. You're not going to have them. So the first thing is, if you want to accomplish anything in this world, is you got to make sure you're not speaking Lashon Horah. That's the first thing. By the fact that you watch your mouth. Whatever good you'll get, that Hashem will give you a kapanim, you sure you'll have it. You won't give it to others. So that's why he explains in the Mapel and Nefesh, David HaMelech, like this is the first step in Avodas Hashem, is make sure you're not transgressing this Avera. If you transgress this Avera, then you don't have nothing. Okay. What do I do here now? Stop recording.